Hare Krishna. Don't just talk about the other, talk with the other. The other refers to some person, some group, some person, or some some unit with whom we have some differences. Now, many times when we have some problem with someone, even if that problem is caused by that person's wrong behavior, often we talk about our grievances with a third person who seems to commiserate with us, who sympathizes with us, but who doesn't actually do anything to solve the problem. And often by such talking, only the negative vibrations increase. And sometimes such talking can even become backbiting and gossiping, wherein if what we feel are our grievances are based on misanalysis of the situation, wherein the other person was not actually to be blamed, but there are other factors involved which we did not take into consideration. So the often by talking about the other, oh, that person said like that, that person did like that, what that person did that time. We can create a whole network of problems through which there we can create a network of perceptions, illusions and misconceptions that only aggravate the situation, that do nothing to solve the problem. But instead, if you just quite often if you just approach directly, talk with the other, talk to the other, talk with the other, and we understand where the other person is coming from, what that other person's thoughts are, what that person's uh, situation is, then quite often we get a better handle on how to deal with the situation. It's not that just by talking with the other person the problem may be solved, problem will be solved. The problem may still be there, but still we get a better understanding of the situation by direct communication. So on the other hand, if especially when we are dealing with we are talking about not people who are outright enemies, but people with whom we have overall good relationships, but there have been some niggling misunderstandings or suspicions, or sore spots for whatever reason in the relationship. So it's best to have direct communication and have clarification and set the proper channel and keep the a relationship on a footing that is mutually intelligible. It's not that we will share all our understandings with others or others will share our understanding with us, but at least if we know where who stands, then we can have intelligible communication, and the relationship can continue at an appropriate footing when there is this mutual intelligibility. So intelligibility doesn't mean necessarily agreement, but we understand, okay, why did this person do like this? Okay, because that person is like this and that person thought like that. We at least have some understanding of what the other person is coming about. So on the other hand, when we just talk about the other, then we gossip, we backbite, and we just create so much negative vibrations which ruin the relationships. So Krishna guides us in the Bhagavad Gita when he talks about austerity of speech in 17.15, that anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam cha yat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. So he says anudvegakaram vakyam. He says, speak words that do not agitate others. Satyam priyahitam cha yat. That speak truthful words, speak which are pleasing and which are beneficial to others. So if we see all this that he's talking about, this is essentially his talk about how we should speak in a way that furthers communication, not in a way that furthers misconception. So by talking, one way we can fulfill this purpose, one way that speech can be non-agitating, truthful, beneficial, pleasing, is if we establish proper channels and forums for communication with others, and we talk to each other. By talking to each other, again, I'm not saying it's not that problems will be solved, but at least mutual positions will be understood, and then thereby the actions can be evaluated based on a understanding of where a person is coming from, rather than just based on a gossip. So by not succumbing to the temptation to gossip or backbite, or to just wallow in mutual self-pity at how bad the other person is, by talking with each other, talking with the other, we find that the other is also quite similar to us. That ultimately that person is also a human being. That person is also a person with feelings, with aspirations, which are largely like ours, and thus we can relate with them, and we can understand them and move towards a stronger relationship, or at least a less fractious, less suspicious, less troublesome relationship. And in that way we can avoid agitating the minds of others and also avoid agitating our own minds. Thank you. Hooray.